This is the Horse Radio Network. This is episode 61 of the Stable Scoop Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network. New equine organizations. Please support our sponsors as they make this show possible. Equestrian Collections brings the whole universe of equestrian shopping to your fingertips at a price you can afford. Visit them at equestriancollections.com. And also to Easy Signs Online, the #1 farm sign company in the United States. Order online easily at easysignsonline.com.
Welcome to the Stable Scoop, with weekly shows delivered right to you. With Helena and Glenn the Geek, live from the stable, it's every week. They'll bring you the news through hail or high water, while using their tails as their own fly swatters. So sit on down and laugh till you poop, cause it's time again for the Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop. The Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop.
This is Glenn the Geek.
And this is Helena B., and you're listening to the Stable Scoop Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network.
Well, hi, Helena. We're not laughing our heads off today.
No, but give it time. We'll get there.
I don't know if you noticed or not, but I left all that in last week, and we got a lot of comments about it.
I didn't see the comment. I don't get to see the comments, but I'm glad you left it in.
I left part of the funny part in at the beginning there, and then I put the rest at the end of the show. For those people who stayed all the way at the end, got to hear a whole bunch of bloopers at the end of the show. So,
oh my gosh, that was the funniest part. The record button had long been turned off, and I was still laughing and spewing.
I know. I know. We had fun last week. It was a good show. If you missed it, Equestrian Collections came on, and they really did provide us with some fall and winter products to talk about for mountain horse and blankets and things. So if you missed that show, go back and listen to it. It was a fun show. Just go to stablescoop.com. You can listen anytime to the past episodes. That was episode 60. I also wanted to mention that the drawing, the giveaway that they so kindly did for us is still going on at the website. Go to stablescoop.com. You'll see a big banner right in the middle of the page, and you can go win one of 3 items that they donated, a pair of mountain horse socks. They also donated one of the very nice mountain horse jackets. It's worth $140. That's one of the Mountain Horse Ladies Arena jackets we talked about. Remember
in
that,
that
Helena?
Beautiful pale blue color.
Yep. And then they also donated one of the Horseware New Market human throw rugs, the blankets that they have for humans now. So they donated that as well. So, yeah, we have 3 great items there. They're up. You can just register to win right now, right on the website at stablescoop.com. Just follow the big banner in the middle of the page. So that is still available.
All right. I like the giveaway stuff.
I know. It's good stuff. That is really good stuff, actually.
No, I think I kind of want one of those blankets for myself because, it is football season and horse shows are still going on, and it's fun to kind of wrap yourself up in something nice and cozy when you're watching other people ride because you can't.
That's right. Did you get your horse back yet?
My horse is back. He is settled in. Oh my gosh. I didn't talk about this last week?
No. No, I didn't know your horse was... we should say, for those that just joined us, Selena recently moved a couple hours south of where she was before into Rhode Island, and her horse stayed behind for a little while.
Everything, I'm such a true believer in everything you experience with your animals, good and bad, it only makes you a better horse person because, Zeke was not interested in loading into any trailer that had less than three stalls. So he really wasn't interested in going in like a 2-stall straight load, whether it was step up or ramp or what. So I was kind of worried that he wouldn't load, but the shipper came and she had a beautiful 5-horse rig. It was a gooseneck and it was a slant load and had all kinds of room and space. And he just walked right on. He shipped quietly. He walked right off, went into his new stall. Maybe he called out once or twice, made nicey-nicey with the quarter-horse mare in the stall next to him and started eating. Wow. What more could a horse give back to his owner than that?
Now, is it close to where you are at your house?
Yeah, it's like a quarter mile.
Oh, wow. You could walk there.
Yes, yeah. And there's only 7 horses on the property, and she's got 30 acres, so he's got plenty of turnout.
Which, sound doesn't, to a lot of people across the country goes, well, why is that so important? In New England, that's important because there's not so much turnout.
No. And to have just 7 horses with that much space to share is also very rare.
Yeah, you're lucky you get a half an acre in New England for turnout for your horse.
Yeah.
So that's great. Well,
yeah,
congratulations.
Thank you.
That's your horse back.
I know.
Now
Not that I can ride.
The whole family's together again.
Exactly. All under the umbrella of love.
Well, today we're talking with 2 guests from 2 different equestrian organizations that we stumbled across over the past couple of weeks. One of them is called equestrianprofessional.com, and we're going to learn more about that. And the other one's called the Women's Horse Industry Association, and they're at women'shorseindustry.com. So we're going to get them both on. We thought it would be fun to have them on, talk about what they do and, what they're trying to accomplish there. And, hopefully you can find something that you'd be interested in and something that might, trip your trigger and cause you to want to go there and check them out.
Trip your trigger?
Yeah, what was that saying? Did I get that one wrong, Helena?
I don't know, but it sounds so 80s.
It does sound 80s.
Hey, baby.
It's almost 70s, actually.
Yeah, 70s. I'm going to trip your trigger. It's very horsey.
Well, you know what? We're filming the Secretariat movie here in Lexington right now, and there's a lot of 70s going on here. There's a lot of 70s automobiles and 70s people's dressed in 70s clothing.
So you got your 70s mojo on?
We got very 70s disco here. That's what I should have done is change the theme music to disco this week.
Yeah. We can disco it up. We can put some disco graphics.
That will date both of us. So the first guest we have coming on with us today is Elizabeth McMillan of equestrianprofessional.com. Equestrianprofessional.com is a private members-only resource and support system for professional equestrians who want to build more profitable businesses to achieve highly successful equestrian careers. That's what it says right on the website.
It's nice that this is out there because, even just a few years ago, an organization like this may have existed, but because of the power of the internet and new media, they can actually attract some viable members and become a great supportive organization, something that helps equine organizations go a little bit broader.
And it's funny you say that because that's where I met him, was on Facebook.
Yeah.
I found him on Facebook, or they found us, one or the other, and that's where I got to know her a little bit and thought, well, we need to have her on. And then the next guest, actually, after Elizabeth is on, she goes by Lizzie, is a group called the women'shorseindustry.com. So we'll get her on in just a moment, too, and find out what that's all about. But first, let's talk to Lizzie McMillan of equestrianprofessional.com.
Well, welcome to the Stable Scoop Show, Lizzie. We're really happy to have you here.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
I'm particularly happy to have you here because my background, aside from the Stable Scoop Show, is helping bring horse business owners together with marketing and technology so they can improve their bottom line. And so far in this industry, I haven't really found many organizations that think horse businesses can be profitable, let alone create a support system like you have to that end. So I'm really glad to see that you're out there and that your organization is successful and growing. Can you tell us a little bit about what is the goal of Equestrian Professional and what prompted you to start it?
I started it because I saw a real need, and I had been doing some equestrian business consulting and coaching prior to starting the equestrianprofessional.com site. I was in the horse business myself and had a lot of friends in the horse business, and I saw people running into similar problems sort of again and again and again, and felt that something could be done about it. And so I started the Equestrian Professional site to provide support and resources to horse professionals.
Would you say the resources are information, business information?
It's a combination. Business information, marketing information, and tools. We have quite a few calculators on the site that are specifically set up for horse businesses that help horse business owners understand how to do things like figure out their profit margins or develop a marketing calendar, so that they learn how to use the tools themselves,
Right.
but in a way that makes sense to them.
Right. Right.
So what do you think is the biggest, I don't want to say downfall, what is the biggest area that horse businesses lack when it comes to business knowledge and expertise?
Oh, that's a tough one. It's complicated. I think that overall the horse business is a very, very tough business because the profit margins tend to be very slim. So you have that on one side. And then you have that it's a very time-consuming business so far as taking care of the animals and competing and doing well in the show ring and, or breeding or whatever else you're doing. That doesn't really matter what aspect you participate in or how you participate in the horse business. If you're dealing with horses, it's time-consuming. And then you have the emotional part, because it's a highly emotionally charged sport because people care about their horses and the trainers care about the horses and the riders care. So there's a lot of emotion involved too. So you have, I think, you have time, you have that it's financially difficult, and you have that it's emotionally charged.
In a moment,
and
you'll receive an email message asking you to confirm your email address.
That's my fault. Sorry about that. I was on your website and just signed up for your email so I could get the
I thought that voice sounded familiar.
Yeah, so I could get the 10 best ways to make your horse business more profitable, because I was thinking I could make the Horse Radio Network more profitable. And then your little guy came up and scared us to death.
It's mostly for horse trainers and riders and things, but that might help you too.
Okay, well, I was giving it a try there. I just got a plug-in for your 10 best ways, and then the little guy came up. So sorry about that.
So go back again. So those 3 points are kind of interesting.
I think there's 3 things that make it tough. The profit margins, that it's incredibly time-consuming so far as working in the business. So horse professionals are usually so busy working in their business, they don't have a lot of time to work on their business.
Right.
And I think that, and then there's the emotional aspect of it too. So it tends to be a really, really difficult business. And although a lot of mainstream practices are helpful, they don't always quite work unless they're adapted to work for horse professionals. And so I think that sort of is the role that we play at Equestrian Professional, is that we take mainstream business and marketing tools, but we help to craft them so they work better for actual horse business, so they work in real life.
Do you have, is there, do the tools that you have and the resources, do they function pretty well across disciplines, or do you find that you really have to customize them for, a Western horse business versus, an eventing barn or a dressage barn? Do you think that the foundation of what you're offering is pretty broad, or does it have to be compartmentalized to be effective?
I would say it's a little bit of both. There's most of the tools, there's a baseline of tools that I think are very broad and that apply to horse businesses across the board. And I speak for a lot of organizations around the country, and very different ones with different types of breeds and different types of riding. And I find that most of what we talk about and most of the tools on the site are pretty, they match across the board. However, what I will say is that a professional rider is going to need to be thinking about very different things when it comes to their career than a boarding stable operator. And the marketing can be a little bit different, but so far as like career planning and how you market yourself or your business, I think that can be different depending on what your role is in the horse business. It's not necessarily what type of horse you're working with or what discipline you participate in, but more what you're doing every day for your living.
Yeah, and it's true of any business. Any business, the fundamentals are still the same. You still have to have good bookkeeping. You still have to have good budgeting. You still have to do all those things that any business has to do. And then there's the nuances to that business that make it unique to yours.
Right, and she's saying that you then have to take that basic business knowledge, adapt it to the horse industry, and then further adapt it to your specific use of it.
Yeah.
And one of the things, I just got your email because it worked very slick here. So I encourage people to sign up and get the 10 best ways to make your horse business more profitable. And number one is the one that I found over and over again. Helene and I constantly have people coming to us because we've started many horse businesses and we've been around the industry for a long time. And they come to us all the time saying, I got this idea. I had it happen to me last week again. I have this idea and I just want to run with it. And, again, they're not doing much background research and that kind of thing. But number one you have here is discover and develop your unique value proposition. That is the most important thing. If you're getting into any business, you got to figure out why you're different and what is different about what you're doing. If you're doing the same thing that everybody else is doing, you're just going to be one of many.
Right.
You have to figure out, if you're doing the same thing that everybody else is doing, you have to figure out how to do it differently to make you unique. And that could be your barn, that could be your boarding stable, it could be anything. But, I don't know if you want to expand upon that, but it's just the most important thing. And I'm sure that's why you have it as number one.
Yes, that's why it's number one.
Yeah.
It's really funny because whenever I start talking about value propositions, my husband's eyes glaze over and he's like, oh, don't talk about that anymore. And I'm like, but it's the most important thing. It's the most important thing because it is what you have to offer that has tangible value to the customer. And unless you are offering something that has tangible value, you should not be in business. Does that make sense? I mean, that sounds maybe a little harsh, but
no, it does make sense.
And
but
it has to be a little different than everybody else is offering.
Yes, you need to have your own unique value proposition, but I think it begins with having a value proposition at all.
Well, yeah, having something valuable, right?
and then I think it becomes unique because, you may be the best person in the area for starting young horses on the flat, or you begin to figure out what differentiates you from your competition, but I think you have to start with just providing basic value and knowing what that means.
Well, that's a good example, and knowing what that means. I think there's a fair amount of men and women who've started horse businesses who know horses very well. And perhaps they're educated in horses, but not educated in business. So a lot of the terms, like tangible value, I do watch other people's eyes glaze over. And sometimes you have to break it down into horse terms. You have to use analogies and, business plans and marketing plans. When you start throwing all of this at someone who's just worked around horses all their lives and is very good at it, I think it can get a little bit overwhelming and intimidating.
Yes.
So what do we say to those people? This isn't as difficult as it sounds, and can we break it down into easy to swallow bites for them?
Well, I hope that the site does that. The site lets people come in and work at their own pace, and they can pick and choose the things that they feel like resonates with them or what challenges they're facing. I also think that the economy has been a huge wake-up call for the entire country, but especially people in the horse business, because it's not working anymore to just be good at what you do. People are finding that they're having to be they're having to learn to be good at the business end because their business won't survive unless they do. So part of it is motivation.
And I think it's interesting that you started this site in a bad economy, because when the economy is booming, everybody can slide a bit.
Yeah.
Everybody makes a little money. It's when the economy goes the way it is now that the true professionals come out. And the ones who are taking the time to do all of these 10 things that you have here, they're the ones that really are going to make it. And what we end up with is a leaner, better economy, whether that's in the horse world or anywhere else.
But this is exactly the right time for her to start a site like this in a down economy, because it's that life preserver that's being thrown out to these small business owners exactly when they need it.
But, you said something, too. You mentioned the word time, and that's the biggest thing with horse people that I've found is they never think they have the time to deal with this stuff. Well, if you don't deal with this stuff, you're going to have all the time you need.
But sometimes they need a helping hand. I mean, honestly, though, it's the squeaky wheel. When you're worried about, hay and grain and shavings and your employees and, workman's comp or just, the needy mare, it's hard to take an hour a week even and focus on just your business. So
it is really hard.
What do you say to people like that who say, I really don't have the time to focus on this. I want to, but honestly, I just can't. What do you say? How do we help those folks?
Well, I think that the key is that a well-run business is much more efficient and far less expensive to run than one that is not well-run. So in the long run, at the end of the day, by just taking an hour a week, or even some people come on the site an hour every day or 20 minutes every day just to read one article or do an exercise, and what they find is that the return they get on their time investment is so beneficial that they can't imagine then not working on their business.
Right.
If you make your business more efficient, you're going to have more time. If you make it to where it's more profitable, you're going to sleep better at night and you'll be better. It kind of is that you have to decide whether you want to break that vicious cycle or not. And I want to encourage people to break that, whether it's, coming on to Equestrian Professional or just taking the time to set aside a couple hours a week to really think about how their business is working as a business. I think that time is well spent.
Yeah. And if even 5 minutes on a website like this, if you can pull down one tip, it might save you an hour a week, or
yes.
Or 5 minutes a day. 5 minutes a day times 7 days, that's over half an hour of time you've just saved, and that
or it might keep you from losing a client.
Right.
And when you look at how much time and effort is invested in the clients and running your business, sometimes it's if one of the things I see commonly is that because horse professionals they may have a value proposition, but they may not know how to articulate it. And so then they don't know how to communicate to their clients what are the benefits of doing business with them. And so sometimes they don't get clients they should have based on their talent.
Right.
And sometimes they lose clients that they shouldn't have just because they weren't good at communicating with them. And it wasn't a matter of whether they were doing a good job or not. They didn't know how to communicate the job they were doing. And that's one of the things we see really frequently.
And it's coming from as a customer, as a client, I've experienced both. I've ridden and trained with professionals who are fabulous at what they do. They are so gifted, and yet their lack of business knowledge has made it difficult to be their customer.
Yeah.
And then the other way around is, as you're looking for, other service providers, somebody who's got a really outdated website or who doesn't answer their phone or doesn't even have an answering machine, something as simple as that, you can say, geez, these guys must never be around. And yet you could have the perfect match, the perfect service provider for you, but because you can't get in touch with them, like you said, there's a client they should be getting, but they're not.
Right.
And that's really much, hey, hello, this is for all of you horse business owners out there. That's me. I want to give you my money. Just let me know how to find you.
Well, I think anybody who's on the web, which is where the customers are, I think it's, 80% of customers or people on the web find local businesses on the web. So that's where these horse professionals customers is online. And if that customer cannot find you,
right.
They may end up with your competition, or, they may just get frustrated and give up. They may finally find you, but, they may not. They may give up.
Right.
Well, I wanted to ask you, is yours a membership? Well, let's speak about your business a little bit. How's it been doing since you started?
I think it's been doing great. Something's beeping over here, sorry. We are growing steadily, and I would say we started out pretty slow because it was a new business. I opened the doors in. Sorry, I thought I turned off my phone. I'm just doing that now. We launched the website in November of last year, and I think now we have about 300 active members and another couple hundred that kind of come and go. And by active, I mean they've either signed up for an annual membership or they consistently renew their monthly memberships. And then we also have it's about 3,500, 4,000 people who subscribe to our newsletter.
Great.
And I think what's really neat about our group and the members and the subscribers is that they're passionate about what they do, and they're from all over the world. And so it's really interesting on the forums, watching people compare notes, or just hearing about how different horse businesses are operating in different parts of the country and different disciplines, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a lot of fun.
Now, is the membership? What's the membership run?
It's $150 for a year, or $14.95 per month.
And they can actually get the email for free just by signing up.
Email's
on the
free.
website.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So if you want a taste of really what you're getting for your $150, get the free email first. But I will tell you, I love what you're promoting on this site and what your organization is promoting. I really think that it's the kind of place where you could spend 10, 15 minutes and pull down a very useful piece of information that could save you a lot of time and money.
And something else they have that's free is their Facebook fan page, which you can find a link to right on your website. And I think I do think that's where we met. And you put a lot of good stuff up there as well. So
we try to. We try to have quite a lot of community resources or free resources for people in the horse industry. So like there's the newsletter, and then we have free seminars from time to time.
And you have 4,600 fans. That's not too shabby in the horse world.
Oh, not bad.
Yes.
4,602 now.
Well, congratulations again, and good luck with this. We'll keep in touch with you and see how things are going. Keep in touch with us as well.
We will. Thank you very much.
Well, that was great. It was good to talk to Lizzie. I had never talked to her in person before. We've been communicating by email, so it was fun to actually chat with her. She seems dynamic and like the kind of person that should be running this site. So
Exactly.
So
I really,
good.
really just think that what she's got up there is wonderful. I'm so happy to see it there. It's just...
Speaking of dynamic, we should talk a little bit about equestrian collections. We had Chris on last week, and she is the master of marketing. So let's just talk a little about equestrian collections, and we'll be right back, and we'll get Catherine Masters on the phone. If you missed last week's episode, please stop back and take a listen as we did a whole episode on the fall and winter merchandise, some of it that's now available at equestriancollections.com. We just touched on some of the mountain horse stuff and some of the blankets, but it was a fun episode just to talk about horse products that you can buy. And if you're looking for anything in the fall and winter line for yourself or for your horse, check over to the hundreds of options that they have at equestriancollections.com. Stop by there first before you go place that order with your traditional spot. Take a look at equestriancollections.com first. You'll find anything that you want over there, plus you'll also find it at a fantastic price. Plus, we have a discount for you. If you spend more than $120, you can get $10 off with the coupon code STABLESCOOP. When you're checking out, just use this coupon code STABLESCOOP, 2 words, and you'll get $10 off your next order of $120 or more. So for all of your fall and winter items, stop over to equestriancollections.com.
Well, Catherine Masters of the women'shorseindustry.com is an amazing woman, if only looking at her accomplishments over the last 35 years. The WHIA, Women's Horse Industry Association, is the brainchild of Catherine Masters. She does have over 35 years experience in the world of marketing, public relations, television production, and sports and association management. Most recently, she sold the National Women's Football Association because, yes, she owned it and could therefore sell it. That was one of the most successful women's tackle football leagues in the world.
There's a new sport for you, Helena.
I could never survive.
I'd go pay to watch you get tackled.
No, please. I eat enough dirt just riding my horse around town. No, I don't want to do that. So
you're a New Yorker. That should be right up your alley.
No, it's pavement that I could hit, not dirt. But, I'm excited to talk to everybody. I'm super excited to talk to Catherine because she just has so much experience, and she's got a variety of experience, and she's bringing that all into this latest project of hers, which is so important to women in the horse industry. The women'shorseindustry.com is the website, and it's a collection of resources, not unlike equestrianprofessional.com. It just comes from a slightly different perspective. But
let's get her on here and see
yeah.
what she has to say. Well, hi, Catherine. Welcome to the Stable Scoop Show. We appreciate you being on today.
Well, it's my pleasure to be here.
Well, you have a resume a mile long. You kind of humble Helena and I a little bit today with all of your credentials. You've been involved in almost every sport there is out there for women.
Yeah, I really have. I've tried to do my best to help the women in the sports world.
Why horses now? You just sold. We were just joking here a little bit that Helena has a new career in the Women's Tackle Football League, which I'd like to see. But you had the National Women's Football Association. What was that?
Well, that was about 40 teams around the country that I ran for 9 years, and they played, regular NFL type football.
Wow, it's still in existence then?
I don't know. I sold it to the owners, and then they couldn't run it very well, and I don't know what they've done with it.
Wow. Okay. So why horses? Have you always been interested in horses, or?
Well, the truth of the matter is I'm a big horse racing fan, and I've always loved watching horses race, show, jump, whatever. I just really think they're beautiful to watch. So I was trying to find some information about the racing industry, and I got really frustrated, and I couldn't find anything about the jockeys or the trainers or the owners. And during my research, I found all these other things that women were involved in, and so many women were involved in the horse industry. So I thought, well, gosh, let me go find their association. Well, there wasn't one.
Right.
So I said, God, man, I need to start one. I know how to do this. So I sent out a press release one day about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it got picked up, and Blood Horse and The Horse and a couple other publications put a little note on their websites, and my email boxes exploded.
Wow.
Just exploded. I had to enlist my daughter to help me, and the girl that used to work for me in the football league to help me to just get all the members listed that were signing up.
And how many members are there now?
We have close to 560.
Are they
And we
mostly
started-
racing related, or are they going, you spanning all disciplines?
No, not racing, actually. We have everything from miniature horses to mules. We have dressage, hunter jumpers, trail riders, show people, everything.
And what's the point of the organization? What's the benefit to your members?
It's just a real simple mission we have. We're a business organization, a business networking group, and all we do is try to help our members be more successful financially by either sharing information about how to do business better or hooking them up with other members who want to buy their products or services.
So it really truly is a networking organization. Is there a membership fee to become a member, or?
It's really reasonable. It's $50 a year.
Okay.
Not bad.
And for that, they get what?
Well, they get listed in our big directory. They get access to all the members' areas on the website. We have a newsletter that goes out every 7 to 10 days. They get, they can put free information in that. We do everything for them. Whatever they need us to do, we'll help them.
And I see here that you actually have a conference coming up. Is this your first conference, actually?
First conference, we figured it would be kind of fun to get everybody together to let them meet one another, and I could get to meet them all as well, and let them do business with one another. So we've had a really good response, and we're hoping to have about 100 people there.
And this is in Louisville?
It's in Louisville, November 3rd and 4th.
And it's in Kentucky, down my way here.
And I have to ask, wait, I have to ask the
yeah.
question about the conference, because having traveled to many conferences in the IT industry, what's the cool thing that's going on? Obviously, you get information and you've got all these experts. What kind of fun can your members expect at this conference?
Well, we have a lot of things going on. We have great panels and great speakers. And on Tuesday, we're having the luncheon, and I'll play like Phil Donahue or Oprah and walk around the room with a mic and let everybody stand up, say who they are, what they do, what they need, what they have. So we'll do some real one-on-one networking with the whole group. And then, of course, in Louisville, there's a lot of things to do. They can go to the track. They can go down to I think there's a big center downtown that's at night pretty big. I forget the name of it.
Yep, there is, and I forget the name of it too. Been there.
Yeah, so they can party till the cows come home.
And I see you've got a fellow who's going to be speaking by the name of Dave Burns. So I'm wondering then that you're going to let men in on this little gig.
We actually have a couple of supporting members, and I tell my members and I tell the guys, if you're not intimidated by women and you want to help us, we'd love to have you just, be a part of it.
There's your ticket, Glenn. There
I
you
tell
go.
you what, I'm right there.
Well, and it's really great. I mean, we have to be realistic. We don't know everything, and the men are half of the population. So, if they want to contribute and teach us things, hey, more power to them.
Well, you have some interesting guests coming to this, actually. I was just looking through the roster here. You have some guests from the bookkeeping side. That we were just on with Lizzie from EquestrianProfessional.com, and we were talking about some of the pitfalls that befall the people in the horse industry. And I think that's one we missed, is that it is so difficult at the end of a long day to sit down and actually do your books, do the bookkeeping and things like that. That's one of the hardest things and one of the biggest pitfalls of horse businesses is they get behind on that, and it is one of the most important things.
Well, it is, and not only do we have EQ bookkeeping coming in, but we have an exhibitor, a guy named Bob Valentine, who's a professor at, I think, Colorado State, and he's got something called eGenie, which is, a software program that helps you manage your farm and horse business as well.
Well, I'd never heard of that one.
No, I'm going to have to look that one up.
Yeah, I have to look that one up,
right
too. See, we learned something here today. It's called eGenie. Well, there's a free plug for eGenie.
Yeah.
eGenie, yeah.
If you go on our website, on the front page, we have some of the icons of some of the exhibitors.
Yeah, it's equinegenie.com.
Yeah, if you click on his, it'll take you to his site.
Well, we're going to have to talk to Equine Genie.
And
Yeah,
you also... Sorry, you have. I was also browsing through some of the speakers who are coming up. Dr. Sheila Lyons, who I know of her work, and she's going to be a great person to speak there. I'd love to listen to her.
Yeah, she's going to be great. We're excited to have her.
Well, this is great. I tell you what. So, what's the ultimate goal here? What's your what do you want to? Where do you want to be in 2 or 3 years with the women's horse industry?
I want 5,000 members all over the world because we have chapters getting started in England and Germany and Australia, and we have about 30 members already in Canada. And I want women to be able to connect with each other and really learn how and do business with one another.
That's kind of interesting. You use the word chapters. Are you encouraging local chapters even within the U.S.? Is that something that might spin off from this?
It may down the road once we get so many members that it'd be hard to handle it from a national level.
Right.
When we get a couple of thousand, I think we'll probably have to do that.
Okay. Because it would be. It would be nice to kind of go down to your local community center and know that you're having a women and horse industry little meeting.
Yep, we're thinking about doing it.
Where are you located?
Sure.
Where are you located anyway? I see you're doing this in Louisville.
No, I'm in Nashville.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll be down there next month, actually. We're spending the weekend after the Christmas decorations go up.
Oh, yeah, Opryland.
Yeah. It's a great place at Christmas time.
Place is huge. I mean, it's so big, it has its own zip code.
Yeah, get the Gaylord Hotel. We went to the Gaylord last year and walked around. The Gaylord Hotel, for anybody who doesn't know, is about the size. We were talking about football fields, about the size of 1,000 of them. And,
yeah, and I think they employ like 10,000 people.
And it's huge. It took us 3 hours to walk around the inside of the hotel and see the Christmas decorations.
When I first moved here about 15 years ago for the music industry, I went there for a music event, and everybody at that time was wearing cowboy boots. So I had my new pair of boots on.
You had blisters.
I was in Opryland Hotel, and I can't tell you how painful it was to walk around there. That place is it's just humongous.
They have water. This is in the middle of the hotel. They have waterfalls. They have a stream that goes through. They do gondola. It's just an unbelievable place.
Boat ride in the middle of the hotel,
Wow.
So is this someplace you thought you've done a lot of different things and had just talking to you about what you've done over the past number of years is interesting enough. And I mentioned inducted into the American Football Hall of Fame. How did that come about?
I guess they just thought what I was doing was neat, and they thought they should give me some kind of recognition for it.
Wow.
And that was one.
Yeah. That's pretty
I mean,
neat.
my whole mission in life is to help others, and if I can do it on a, and they all seem to need, especially in the horse industry, the women really seem to love their horses, but they don't love business yet. And they've got to learn that that's a big part of it. It's the same like in the music industry. A lot of the artists and the musicians are great performers, but they're terrible business people.
Right.
And it's so important, no matter what kind of business you're in, that, I mean, I may love tennis, but if I need to understand the business end of it.
To make a living at it.
Yeah, I may love horses, but I've got to understand how to make money and how to manage my money and how to market my business.
Well, that's very interesting that you say that, because it's the theme here today, isn't it, Helena, with our previous guest as well. I mean, that has been the theme through this entire show.
It has, and it's not uncommon, but bringing, and I think just, no offense to men, but I think once you put women together, you put them in a group, they do well in learning from each other and supporting one another. So, I think Catherine is in the right path in terms of just starting that foundation for us to get to know one another. Just join the first, even if you don't immediately see what the benefit is, get involved, become a member, go to the conference, because you can be sitting down next to somebody and who knows what kind of business relationship or networking relationship you might strike up with that person, or what you could learn from that person.
And everybody knows somebody,
Right. And I mean, look at Facebook and Twitter, and that epitomizes what networking can do for you, for a community.
But the other thing is that a lot of people join organizations, and they don't participate. In other words, we ask them to send stuff for the newsletter. I should be bombarded with stuff, and I maybe get 15, 20 articles. And it's like women have to really learn that when they hire a new trainer, that's news. When their big horse has a baby, that's news. They have to learn to promote their businesses better. A lot of them, before I started the association and in my research, I found out that there were a ton of people that did not have websites. And I'm thinking, how on earth can you run a business nowadays without a website?
Yep.
Yeah, that's true in the horse industry. We always say that the horse industry tends to run about 2 years behind technologically wise. I just made up a couple words. So, we do tend to run a little bit behind. That has been catching up, I think, with the help of Facebook and Twitter and things like that. The horse world is catching up, and shows like ours, they're figuring it out. But I'll tell you what, we are plain running out of time. But I wanted to mention that this conference is November 3rd and 4th. It's in Louisville. It's very inexpensive. Your members of your association are $100, non-members $125. I just paid almost $1,000 to go out to Blog World Expo in Vegas next week. So this is very affordable.
Reasonable, yeah. And we suggest joining the membership, because I'm going to do it for $50. I'm doing it.
And when you do, we always ask our new members to send us a couple of paragraphs about who they are and what they do, and we do a member spotlight on them.
I mean, goodness, you don't even have to get up from your desk.
No, and we put it right on the website for everybody to see. And we want people to understand the quality of the people that are in the horse industry, and that's what I've been so impressed with, is the quality of our members.
Well, that's
they're
great.
really solid individuals, and they just need a little bit of help in marketing and promoting.
Right.
Well, I'm going to say to you, welcome to the horse world.
Thank you so much. I've been well received.
Well, that's good. I mean, and if not, you had professional football women, so you could probably take care of things.
Yeah, that's a good lead into horsewomen.
Exactly.
I would think if you're going to start big, you're going to go with horses. But my goodness, I think women football players is going to be a little bit bigger.
Thanks, Catherine.
I think what you guys are doing is great as well. The more information we can get out there and share, the better.
Well, that's why we're here. So, Catherine, we appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, and please send people to our website. It's all spelled out, womensHorseIndustry.com.
And there'll be a link in our show notes as well. Thanks, Catherine. Well, that was fun, and that recurring theme kept coming through. I think, and I think it's more important now than ever with the economy the way it is. We in the horse industry really, really have to start thinking and acting like business people rather than the horse people.
Right.
There's going to be a lot of people that don't make it, and there's going to be a lot of shaking out here. But the ones who are smart about it and do take that hour a week, half an hour a day to invest in their own business, not just the horses that are part of their business or the riders that are part of their business, but their business. I think that's one of the most important things.
The key is that it can be done. You can make a living in horses.
Yes.
That's an uphill battle that I've been fighting forever, telling people you can do this, and it just takes a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of streamlining.
And find out what your uniqueness is. What makes you unique? And I think that's part of why the Horse Radio Network has done so well. Is we're pretty unique in this space. That we're the ones. And
there's one other thing that we are the ones. There's one other thing that kind of goes hand in hand with that I want to tell people is in terms of because that one line item, that one tip, find out what makes you unique and highlight that. That's one of the first things that you learn in any business plan or marketing class. If you live anywhere near a public university, University of whatever, Vermont or USC or UCLA, if you live near any university, usually they have a department of the Small Business Administration is somehow affiliated with that university. Call up the Small Business Administration, say, where's your local office, your extension office? They will give you a free guide, a booklet on how to write a business plan and how to write a marketing plan. And you don't even have to write one, just read these little booklets. And the reason I say university is because there's usually some kind of college or university in every state. But even if you just go to the Small Business Administration website, find out where their local extension office is, and this stuff is free.
Right. Yeah, and there's tons of information online about writing business plans now. And, a business plan can be as simple as something that you jot down on paper. Right. It does not have to be this complicated, long thing, unless you're trying to borrow money, then it needs to be. But, the idea is to have a plan. I mean, that's the basic idea is have a plan.
Yeah, it's like just putting it down on paper actually makes it more concrete and easier to follow. It's like when you're in class and you're taking notes. You could sit there and listen to your professor teach and preach, but it actually helps make the information concrete in your mind if you actually write it down. Well, the same thing is true for business plans and marketing plans. Just jot things down, even if it's a to-do list. It makes such a difference in your ability to follow through and be successful with the business in general, or specific goals. You might have 2 goals for the year. I want to get more clients, or I want to train more horses. Put those 2 things down on paper, and you would be surprised at how much more quickly and efficiently you'll be able to achieve those goals just by writing it down. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. Sorry.
It's a good soapbox. All right.
I just don't want to hear people say, I can't do it. I can't make a living at horses, because you can.
And we're proof of that. The 2 of us are proof of that.
And so is EquestrianProfessional.com and Women's Horse Industry.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, Helena, we're plain running out of time, or we're going to be out of business, so we're going to have to wrap it up here. We'll be back again next week, and I'm so excited about next week as well. If you remember right, and I know you will, we did a show called Extreme Horsewomen, speaking of women.
Oh, yes.
And we had a couple of great guests on. Cassandra, the endurance rider from the West Coast, California, who is also a CHIP officer, a highway patrol officer in California. And we also had Liz Halliday, who is the professional race car driver and eventer. Yeah. And we're having them both back to give us updates on how their year has gone and what they've accomplished in the horse world and otherwise.
Are we also going to do an update on Roz?
Well, yes, I will give an update on Roz. I've been following her very closely. Roz is the one who rode the Pacific. It'd be great to get her on the show.
Yeah.
But I know she's traveling around right now and doing a ton of interviews because she has a new book out.
But she's done. She's out of the water?
She's out of the water. She made it successfully to a little island called Tarawa, something like that. It would give you an idea how small this island is in the Pacific. It had 2 flights in and out a week. So, you make one of those flights or you don't get there. And they greeted her, and it's at rozsavage.com. You can see videos of her arriving at Tarawa and the greetings she got from the natives there. She was quite a hero, and apparently her boat is being put up there and repaired there and, getting ready to go for the next leg, which will happen in March. She'll be rowing solo from this little island in the Pacific called Tarawa to Australia. So she has one more leg to do, and then she will be the first woman to ever have rowed the Pacific.
Wow. Apparently you've been following.
Yes, I get her tweets, and I follow her podcast she does. She actually phones it in from a satellite phone out in the water, and you hear the water sloshing around. But she's quite a fascinating woman and doing it for a good cause. That's rozsavage.com.
Great.
Well,
and then we're going to add Cassandra and Liz to that.
Talk about fascinating women, right?
Yeah.
And you can go back and listen to that previous episode. Just go onto stablescoop.com and search for Extreme Horsewomen. You'll find that episode and take a listen to it before we have them back again next week. And, of course, you can follow us, the whole Horse Radio Network family. We're at horseradionetwork.com. We have all the shows there. I do want to make a quick announcement here, Helena, that as of this week, I am resigning as the co-host of the Eventing Radio Show. Oh. And the reason I'm doing that is to allow me more time for the other shows I do. Plus, we have a very exciting announcement in that we have two great full-time current professional riders that are going to be co-hosting. So Chris will still be there as normal, but she will have new co-hosts, and they're going to be rotating. We have Jenny Brannigan, who's a rider out of Pennsylvania, who will be, she's an international rider, as well as we have Boyd Martin, who's also going to be co-hosting as well. Boyd's always a hit when he's on the show. He's been on several times. Women love Boyd. It's a great dynamic on the dressage show now and on the eventing radio show to have current full-time riders as co-hosts because they know everybody. They know this stuff inside and out.
I know.
And I think it's going to be wonderful to have them on. I'm looking forward to listening to it myself. I will still be involved in the production and everything. The Horse Radio Network's not going anywhere. And, of course, with the 2010 World Equestrian Games coming up, and I also do the 2010 radio show, I'm going to be much busier there. Things are getting really busy as far as that's concerned, and I need to devote as much time as I can to that. And, of course, Stable Scoop, our highlight of the week, Helena.
Speaking of, wait a minute, let's back up for a minute before we go. Speaking about WEG, is my room ready?
Yes, your room is ready. And actually what we've done, because we've had so many requests now, is we've just done little police drawings on the floor. We're going to have you lay down and draw your little shape, and that'll be your space that you get.
Perfect. I will take a roommate. I can bunk with Beastie.
How about 10 different roommates?
I bunk with Beastie.
Well, something else. We saw our friend Rochelle.
And Rochelle is doing well and healthy.
Yeah, she's doing great. She worked with Helena up there, and we were good friends with Rochelle. Rochelle was on the 2010 radio show last week. She did an interview with us as a groom. She's a groom for Poland, who is a well-known driver in the driving world. Just retired last week, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So Rochelle,
that's Larry Poland.
Larry Poland, and he gave us, she gave us an interview about what it's like to be an international groom. So we were very excited to have her on, and then Larry won the national championships actually in the pairs, and then retired in a closing ceremony. It was everybody's crying, and it was quite heartwarming. So. So Rochelle is now officially retired. She got to ride in the carriage during the whole ceremony they had for Larry because she's been with him for 10 years, I think.
I know.
It's been a long time. And
that
she's looking forward to retiring, too, as a groom. She's looking forward to getting
She's been running around. Honestly, I don't know where she gets the energy.
But our shout-out to Rochelle from both of us. And thanks for buying us dinner last week. We appreciate it. So we'll be back again next week. You can follow us on Twitter at Horse Radio and Helena at...
Oh, gosh.
Helena_BEE. I remembered it this time.
Thank you.
She said you can follow us on Facebook. Just search for Stable Scoop up in the upper right-hand corner and become a fan of the Stable Scoop radio show.
See, if I were a handsome eventer, then I'd remember my own name.
And all the links from today's show will be in our show notes at stablescoop.com. Helena, we will be back again next week.
We will have a new scoop.